quick just about with the lab just before we get started with Mexico, okay? So remember,
Yes.
we have two arrow buttons, right? You have one on the left and one on the right. So we hit that first arrow button to get it started. And then the other arrows, when we're going to use it, remember that little button, the little eye, that's where we're going to get our light. So watch what happens whenever I have to aim it. Now it's going to, a lot of the numbers are going to react. So you really have to hold it still until the numbers kind of settle. And then I'm going to hit that. See how it spikes? Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So that's all we really have to do. Worry about the two arrows, the one on the left, the one on the right. Start it with the one on the left. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So the arrow on the left, and you'll see a little running guy. Everybody see that? Okay. And then the other thing we want to do, you have the running guy. So when you take that measurement, you only have to hit it once, but you're going to just hit the button on the right. Okay? Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right.
Hey guys, you hear me?
We do.
Barry?
Yep. Hold on. There.
Okay. If you're ready, we are ready here and we would like to do the introductions
Okay.
of the kids to the schools, yes?
Okay.
Okay. From our side, this part will be done by the principal of the school, Adriana, so please.
Yes.
Hello
Hello guys, good afternoon for you. It's still good morning for us. We are Colegio Gabriela Mistral. This is the group for 6th grade, which means for you, it's 8th grade. Hello guys. Hello. As you can see, we're really excited to be working with you. So I would like to know a bit more about you and your school. Is there someone in there interested to share some information with us?
Yeah, I'll do it. I guess I've been nominated. I'm the superintendent. I'm Mr. Jones. How's everyone doing today? I guess
Fine,
okay.
fine.
Well, this is very exciting for us today. Just a little bit of information about our school and our class. Right now, you've got 56 graders that are here. This is a brand new facility that we're opening today, so a brand new room. I don't know that we've used this for anything yet, have we?
A little bit.
Maybe a little bit. So this is a brand new room that we're in, brand new technology, and this is like I said, 56 graders are using it right now. We're excited to have this up and running, and so everything that we've got now is clean and new, and we've got 3 teachers that are going to be assisting with us today, as well as a lot of people lurking in the background because everyone is excited to see how this is going to work. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, we're really excited as well. I have here, I would like you to know, we have 2 English teachers. Over there, we have Mr. Jimenez, say hello. Okay? We have Mr. Kevin Vasquez as well. Okay? And we have in here our general administrator as well, Licenciado David Berrones. Okay? And we're going to be working along with you for this experiment. This is the first time for us to be working in a STEM experiment. As you can see, we don't have actually a STEM lab, but we're really eager to get it anytime soon.
That's great. I want the teachers to step up here very quickly because they're the ones who are making this happen. And can you guys introduce yourselves on this?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Leonard. I'm the 5th grade science teacher here at Jeannette. I look forward to working with you on this lab, so we'll get together here very shortly.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Rich. I am the 6th grade science teacher here.
Hi, my name is Ms. Good. I'm the technology teacher here.
Okay.
Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Nice
you
to
as
meet
well.
you.
We're just waiting for our physics teacher, but she will be with us in just some minutes. However, I would like to know the guys at the back. I don't see if I see some there a mustache and a black tie.
That's Bill
Yeah.
Bell. Here's our
Because
technology.
I know them, but not my students, so I would like you to tell them who you are.
Come on up.
Come on up. Everybody gets a chance. All right, good morning, boys and girls. My name is Mr. Bell, and I'm the IT director here. So, hola.
And my name is Mr. Weaver. I am also one of the IT guys here at Jeannette City School District, so it's good to meet you all.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brian Sermez, and I am a partner with Mr. Sunder over here. So it's very nice to meet you, and just wanted to observe the experiment.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, it's not less important to tell you that we're really, really excited, aren't we, guys? Yes! Okay, so, under your command.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Here in Mexico, we are very excited and we are ready to start our experiment. So if you are okay, maybe we can turn down the volume and start with the instructions. Here in Mexico in Spanish and in the US in English. Are you okay?
Yeah, we're going to go do a little lesson plan first before we get started with our actual experiment. And then when that happens, we'll turn the lights down. But yeah, I'll mute for now. And the teachers are going to go over a lesson, and then we'll reconvene right before we go and do our actual experiment. How about that? Does that work?
Okay. So let's turn down the lights. Turn off. Thank you.
So we can always see them, okay? And they can see you.
They can't see us, yes they can. So.
All right, so as we know, we're all here. We do STEM, this is National STEM Day, and we're going to use the lab disc to measure the intensity of light. We're going to walk you through little slides. The first thing we want to do is I want to see if you guys know what STEM stands for. Anybody know? How about we vote on the iPads? So ABCD is going to show up on your iPad, and each group is going to get to work together and go ahead and choose A, B, C, or D.
So go ahead and turn and talk to the people at your group and see if you can come up with the answer that you think STEM stands for.
Can you see it?
Which one do you think it is?
All right. Let's see.
Okay, so you have a lab sheet in front of you, and of course it has the objective at the top, which Mr. Sunder just said, measure the light intensity of different light sources. So a question that we're looking to investigate here is, are there variations within different light sources? So at this point, what we'd like you to do is create a hypothesis that is going to identify what your guess is about what you think is going to happen in this lab. So we are going to start with an if-then statement. If, and this is going to be your independent variable, then what do you expect to see happen? That's going to be your dependent variable. So what I want you to do is think for a minute. What is it that we are going to be changing? Look at the materials that you have at your tables. Think about what it is we're investigating with this light sources, the different light sources that we're looking at. And I want you to take a minute to turn and talk. What do you think if we change, there's your independent variable, then what do you expect to see happen? There's your guess and your dependent variable. So go ahead and take a minute and turn and talk. We'll kind of be walking around to help you a little bit as you create your hypothesis for this particular lab.
Hey guys, listen please. I appreciate this, but hey, real quickly, intensity. Remember, I want you to think of intensity of light as the strength, the power that light will give off, okay? That's what we're talking about when we refer to intensity. Okay, so keep that in mind as you process through your hypothesis. So, Where are we at here then? So here's, we do have light sources here. You see those, right? Those are the light sources we're going to be working with. Right here, they're all right here. So we want to think, if we change what? Pick a light source, then what do you think would happen as far as intensity? That's kind of what we're thinking, okay?
So what do you think here? What are we changing? What's our independent variable here? Okay, so if we change the light source, right, the type of light, that'll work too. Then what do you expect to see happen? What are we going to measure on observe here? So which one do you think is going to have the highest intensity? You think, so you're going to put your guess here. Actually, here's where your guess can be different than the other people in your team, and that's okay. But you're going to put this as your dependent variable. This is what we're going to measure or observe. Does that make sense?
So the light source, yes, keep it light source.
100%. Everyone knows what STEM stands for.
Okay, so everybody process through a hypothesis. Good proof, good proof. And good group here. Okay, so we process through this. So everybody has a hypothesis. Everybody has that guess based on the materials that are presented in front of you here. So we're going to look at some prior knowledge questions right here, just a couple. Again, we're going to vote on these, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at a couple questions here. So this first question asks, and remember, I want you to think of intensity as power, as the amount of light. So let's take a look at this question. Which light source do you think would have the highest intensity? And we're choosing between an LED flashlight, a candle, an incandescent light, or actual sunlight. All right, what I want you to do is take a minute, turn and talk, take 1 minute. Which of these is going to exude or emit the most power, have the greatest intensity? Talk to each other.
Make sure every group member agrees with what you're going to put, right?
Don't vote until
Don't vote yet. We're not voting yet. Just talk. No voting yet, just talk. Okay, you come to a general consensus. Have you chosen and selected together? You have not yet. Okay. What you think about this again? Intensity, power, the amount of light. Which one of those take? Okay. When you come to consensus.
There we go. All right. Answer is D, sunlight. Let's see how we did. Uh-oh. Okay, so we got the first question 100%. Second one, okay, we're still at 90%.
All right. Next question, please listen carefully. As a light source power, as a source of light increases, the A, light intensity is going to increase. B, the light intensity would decrease. Ambient light would decrease, or none of the above. So this is the question again. As a light source, the statement, excuse me, as a light source power increases, which of the four do we think is going to happen to the intensity?
So one more has to vote. You guys. Oh, okay. There we go. The answer is A. Everybody got it right. Good job.
Okay. So again, listen, this is going to be our focus. We are literally going to start working with the materials that you have in front of you in just a moment's time. So we're talking about this incandescent lights, candle, LED lights. But I want to again focus on this word light intensity or luminous intensity. So that you have an understanding that it is absolutely the amount of light produced by a specific light source, the amount, okay? So the power that we can actually physically see. All right, so we'll do a little demo here.
All right, to make the definition come up and alive off the paper, on the iPads you can adjust the light intensity. You may have done this on a phone or an iPad that you use, but if I increase it, you see how bright it got? So that would be a higher intensity, but then if I decrease it, it does lower. So it's a little bit weaker.
And that is the concept of intensity, what the power of the light generated, okay? All right. So the next term that we want to talk about and discuss this afternoon is something called ambient light. All right? And this picture does a wonderful job of kind of demonstrating what ambient light might mean. And it's simply this. Ambient light means it's the light that's already present in a room, okay, before any additional, or what I refer to as artificial light, is introduced, okay? So one more time, ambient light is the light that is already present in a space before any other outside light source is there, okay? So if we take a look at this, we do have this building kind of divided up into A and B. And so right now, what I want you to do is take a look at both sides of the building, that left and right side of the screen, and I want you to turn and talk about A or B, which one is actually given a representation of what ambient light is. Okay, so anything to add?
No. Go ahead and turn and talk to the people near you. What do you think is ambient light? The example A or the example B?
So what we can really do in this situation, I'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, think about that. Think about that as a concept, okay?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The light that is already present before any additional lighting is added. So, what this light that is already present before any additional lighting is added. Okay, so think of it that way.
This is where we're going to actually do our experiment, okay? So this, we're going to turn the lights down. First, everybody check, what you need to do is you need to get your iPads, go back to the home screen, and then choose the globusins, the little circle, the picture of the lab disk. Open that up and make sure you're connected. And if you're not connected, go back to settings. Let's do this. Let's go back. Go into your settings, Bluetooth settings. Remember how to do that?
You're good? Okay. You guys are, you're okay here, right?
Yeah, you're good. Go back to the software now. It shows a blur right there. Everybody connected?
No, very
So it'll actually bypass what you already have. So start this.
So, hey guys, you still have your materials.
You guys hear us, Miriam?
You guys still have your materials labeled out there.
Hi. Hello there. So we're about ready to do our live demo. We're going to turn the lights down. Are you done with your lesson plan?
Yes, we are ready to turn off the lights.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Let's get
And I want everybody to pick up the lab disk, and I want you to point to where that light sensor is. If you look on the front of the lab disk, there's a little picture of a light bulb, split. You see that? Anybody see the little light bulb, the circle, the button with the light bulb? Okay, right on the back side of that, on the side, is the actual sensor. It's a little circle. Everybody see that? See it? Good? Right there, yeah, good. Let's see. You guys, yep. See. Right there. Okay. So we turn the lights out. We're doing flashlight first. So Aiden's going to hold the flashlight up. Yeah.
I thought we were going to do the candle. That's okay.
I'm sorry, we're going candle down.
We're going
That's
candle
right.
first. Yeah, we're
Candle first. You don't have to burn that place. Hmm? All right, let's check them out.
I'm going to come around and light your candles. After you collect your data from the candle, as soon as you're done, I want you to go ahead and blow that candle out. Okay?
Okay. All right, we're ready to go. So here's your light sensor.
Hold on one second. And we'll get this.
As soon as you're done.
This all together.
Just button, get it running.
Hold on one second, Smart. We're going to do this all together, okay? We're going to kind of get our data. As soon as we have everybody ready to go here, everybody's disc is ready to go. Let's go ahead and record.
You guys are good.
So just give us 1 second to get lit. And we want to shut lights off too before we record. So because we've got another outside source of light, we don't want to graph right now.
Okay. Hit the right button. Okay.
Right button.
Okay, you guys ready? All right, you guys want to blow those candles out? Blow the candles out. Now turn on the lamps.
Okay, so we're going to go to the lamp next.
Yeah, press them.
Press them. Stop. Now we're going to record over the top.
Okay, ready? Same thing, you're just going to aim your sensor right at the light, and you're going to press the right button once. If you don't see anything show up on the iPad, you can go ahead and hit it again.
That went off pretty loud. Here, can I do the flashlight one?
How many samples did you collect? This is your candle. And then you took 2 samples. Did it from an API?
No, I didn't think you can.
Alright, so you guys have light source for is this?
This was the candle.
Okay, this was the okay. So you guys took out 2 people, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. Should I do the flashlight one? Yeah. You do the flashlight. I need somebody to hold it. Yeah, you just set it down. It can't sit down.
Yep, so let's blow those candles out. We're good? Turn the lights out again.
You're going to hold that up.
Got the running back on now?
Okay, we're going to do the LED light source. And so you got your instructions up. I'm holding the lamp straight up and letting somebody put the light source right, just hold it. Yep. Let's go this way. Yep, that way. So we're going to get just there. Go ahead, let me do it.
Wait, so just let it go like this. Yeah. It goes back up like this one. Yeah. It goes like that.
We'll be be able to look at it if we pull out something in live data, but we'll be able to download it. And we'll
You recorded everything, correct? Green. A good thumbs up from Ronnie. Red group. Noah's give me a thumbs up. Seth, give me a thumbs up back here. Thumbs up. You recorded everything? Okay. Get some mics on. We're talking about what we're going to do in a very, very orderly fashion. We're going to do this. Move the parts from them.
Yeah, we'll
Explain to them what we're doing. Yep. This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Hello there. We're about ready to go outside now. Do our last reading, okay?
I just have a grouping here. The other groups have already went outdoors
Okay?
to check light intensity outdoors. So I will see you back in a minute.
Okay, all right. All right, you guys ready to go outside? Yeah. Where's your sunglasses?
Keep taking samples. Take 4 or 5.
There you go. Take it in my eyes. How many do you get? Which one is your son?
No, I want straight.
But it should be like up here.
Start collecting data. Is this one coming in?
Place it like right at the good. A little bit higher. Yeah, like as high as
This will be the sun.
So they did theirs in the reverse then.
Okay.
So what did you have here?
no, that would be the flower.
So that was your son's bike over there, though?
Right, so this one that I'm looking at right now. Okay, and then what's this one right here? Is that the canvas? Okay, so where is the candle? Okay, and then where's your incandescent?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, and then is this your sun?
That's probably your LED then.
Okay. Are all these samples right here from the sun? Were all of those from the sun? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good right there. That's the one we'll show. So we've got a candle, we've got little blips on the incandescent, and then we've got the flashlight.
Okay, please stay with the group, okay?
Alright, 5th, 6th grade, when we go up, remember you're quiet. Other students are still learning in their classrooms.
It's so cold.
I can shut the door.
Anybody else want? Should we do that too?
Okay, Barry, hello again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can somebody help me?
Hi.
Perfect. We are done with experiment, Barry. The 6 groups are done with the experiment. And the conclusions are the same.
We are setting labels up for our data right now,
Not cooperating at all.
and they're not cooperating, but we are getting there. So we are now labeling our data.
Because we have our data too.
How about, why don't you share your screen with us? Why don't you share your
I can
desktop?
share our screen with you guys.
Want to share your desktop with us and show us your data?
I can share our screen with you.
Want to share your desktop with us and show us your data?
cosas de lo que se pueden hacer con el GIS. Ustedes obtienen información y lo pueden exportar Excel o lo pueden exportar como un link. Ahorita lo vamos a ver. ¿Este experimento de quién es? ¿De qué grupo? De aquí. ¿Perfecto?
So,
Se está descargando.
Gracias. Pueden ser más bonitos que ellos hagan alguien en la presentación. Sí, la maestra.
¿Alguien de ustedes, chicos, quiere compartir sus muy rápidos y inglés para otra vez? ¿Así? ¿Tú quieres compartirlo?
Lo vamos a hacer en un video sin lección.
No, but I have someone reading here. We have
Hey, Barry, someone from the group is going to present.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So they can. Uh-oh. You did.
I can see you.
Okay. First, they're going to introduce themselves.
Hello, Pennsylvania. We are from Titlán, Colegio de Mistral. My name is Miguel, Angel, and Max, and we are going to do our presentations that we make in the experiment. First of all, in the...
So make sure they are here.
Are you here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
yes.
Come hear us, pero no los podemos ver.
We can see you. Okay.
We can see you. Can you change your screen so we can see you guys?
Sure. Here we go.
Perfect.
Thank you. And first, in the first time that we do the experiment, the light was very lower. We can't see anything. Next, with the second experiment, it upload a little bit, but in the third, with the light bulb, it upload another time, like 1,000. But when it really uploads a lot is when we were at the sun, because in the question that we made in the first time, the previous questions, we saw that the sunlight is the most powerful form that we can of the light, and that's my conclusion. Next, I'm going to review with my friend Max.
My conclusion is that the sunlight is more stronger than all because it has a calorific power, and it could be more dangerous if we are closer than the sun. And the lower value is the candle, because the candle doesn't make really powerful light. It's only make light or see our the surrounding us. I will leave you with my partner.
The third one is going to have his presentation in Spanish.
Okay. Mis conclusiones son de que mientras mis conclusiones son de que mientras más fuentes de poder va a haber más intensidad de luz. Por ejemplo, si la vela tiene menos cantidad de luz, la intensidad es menor, y como el sol es gigante, produce mayor cantidad de luz, lo que hace que produzca, es una mayor fuente de poder, y eso es lo que hace que tenga más intensidad.
Perfect. So various As you can see, all the 6 groups have the same results. The lowest value is the candle, and the most powerful is the sun. Okay? So we are very, very, very proud because everybody here has the same results.
I just have a question. Do we have some comments from your students? Something that they would like to share with us?
Does anybody want to actually just come up and just explain how our results compared to theirs?
Okay, we're gonna have 2 students come up and show their results as well.
Just come up and just tell me how.
We used the line graph instead of bars.
How did our results compare? We know the results. Think of our results, okay? Who would like to explain or the comparison between our results and their results? Go ahead, Smart. Seriously, just.
Can we come up with her?
You know our results.
Good job.
Okay. Okay.
So we have 2 students. Samir and Samara, who actually are just going to compare our results. Have a good day.
Happy New Year!
JC, thank you very much. Marion, thank you. On top. How would you guys like to wear suits and jackets?
Especially in Mexico with the It's not like here. I know.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these, and what we're going to ask you to do as a group is this turn and talk moment. I'd like to give you about a minute, give or take a few seconds to discuss in your group these questions. But we are going to start with the first one of how, excuse me, how does the data change, or how did your data change for each light source, okay? That's kind of been talked about, but I want you to turn and talk to each other. How did the data change for each light source that we recorded? Go ahead and turn and talk to each other. Right, okay, so it was that, that's fine, right. So.
Stronger source of light will be more intense change than every time we do it.
I did, but I couldn't.
I don't think at this point we even want to worry about that, because they is to kind of take a look at this imagery of your data. You know, you heard Mexico City say that their order of luminous intensity or light intensity went from the lowest intensity or amount of light power from the candle to the incandescent light, that was the lamp here, to the LED flashlight, and finally when we went outside, and I think that was the amazing part of the lab, was going outside, and I can't specifically inquire to which one of you made the comment, but I know I heard you click the button on your lab disk, and I kind of heard a couple whoa because it was that intensity of that sun that was so powerful. And obviously we realize that nobody could look up into that sun and open your eyes and record that. We know that. So the power is that intense from our sunlight, okay? But this does kind of give us that visual representation. And I think this is the greatest part about doing a lab like this. This whole experience with synchronous learning, getting a chance to talk to other communities, other languages in Mexico City, and work with them and find out that we are absolutely, these results are the same. They should be the same. So the lab disk that we got to use today, in terms of generating the data, I think that is enormous for all of you. And I think it actually already started to speak volumes to me in terms of the learning curve here. I know Cooper and I talked about this before the lab started, that last year when I had you in 5th grade, those of you in 6th grade, I said that, one of the weaknesses we kind of saw was, not weaknesses, but it's difficult for some of us to interpret data. But today, having that data so instant and being able to see it so instantly, I think improves our skills in terms of any claim or evidence or reasoning we want to go through when we're actually sharing results. So it was great that you came in and recognized this and got a chance to see it. So we can go to the next question.
Yep.
Thanks.
Done with the data?
Okay, so before we started this lab, obviously, you set your group and you kind of came together to create a hypothesis. What I want you to do now is take a look at each other again for a minute and discuss, hey, how did your hypothesis actually relate to our results? So that a hypothesis you wrote back before the lab, how did our results relate to it? Were you very close? Where did your hypothesis come on the spectrum in terms of the data we found? Go ahead and talk. So who wants to talk to, not me, talk to us in terms of this second question? How do the results of your hypothesis, how do they relate to your data? Cheryl, what do you think? What did you guys find out? I mean, your hypothesis was what? What was your written hypothesis?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead, please. That's fine.
If we change the light source, then the light intensity for the LED would be the greatest.
Okay. So you did project that through your hypothesis that literally your variable was like to change the light source. Okay. And we know we had a few that we were playing with here or examining. So how did your results show up then, obviously?
What was your evidence, Joe?
Well, all of the previous data, we only have the sum.
So we have the sun, but what do we find out from the results of the sun?
It's the greatest light. It's the greatest intensity.
Okay. Is this a velocity? Did you guys do this? That's a little tough. I apologize. I apologize. I don't know. I have a group. I took one move on. Actually asked.
Does anybody else have data that their evidence from the lab supports your hypothesis? So you created a hypothesis at the very beginning, then you collected some data. Do you have evidence that supports that? Tell us a little bit about your evidence. Tell us how that supports your hypothesis. Was it correct or not? Casey?
Our hypothesis was if we change the light source, then the light intensity will increase or decrease. And our data proves our hypothesis.
Did you take a position on which one you thought was going to have the greatest intensity?
Yes.
And you thought it was going to be the sun?
Yes.
So tell us what evidence you have.
The sun's...
According to the data that you collected on the iPad, what evidence do you have that supports that the sun was the greatest? Tell us a little bit about what you saw on the graph.
We saw that...
How did it start off with the candle? That was your first one, right?
was the lowest.
Okay. And then what happened from there?
The LED light.
The lamp?
Did you take the incandescent light first, next? Okay. And what was the data that you collected for that one?
It got bigger.
Okay.
It got brighter.
So it increased, right? What else? Then what was next?
LED flashlight.
Okay, and what did you notice on the data then?
Then it increased again.
Okay. And you finished with the sun and...
It increased even more.
Okay, so there was a trend. We saw a trend as we looked at each light source. There was an increase from the candle all the way to the sun. So what are some of the similarities among the different light sources? So I want you to take a minute, look at your data. You're going to pull that back up again. Look at the data that was collected. What are some of the similarities that you're seeing between the different light sources? So look at the candle compared to the other light sources.
Yeah, we had 4 sources of light, remember that. Now there are some comparisons, and so what do you see in comparisons of these light sources?
So take a minute and turn and talk to the people at your table and see what you can come up with. For similarities, you're looking for similarities among the different light sources. So what do you do? Just looking over here. Do you see any similarities among the light sources?
That's how your data shows it. Physical evidence. So anything else that you know is up to the
So I want to hear a little bit about, like, as you analyzed that data, what did you notice were some of the similarities? There was clearly one that was the brightest, and clearly one that was the least intense. You did see some similarities, and it's important when we want to collect our data, it's important that we then analyze that data and try to make sense of it. Do we see trends? Do we see similarities?
So I have them see differences or
Or is it kind of all of them? So we need to talk about what you're seeing in the data. So it's good. I'm glad that you're listening. Great, well, let's go.
We just had a great conversation back here with the group, and we were talking about in terms of luminous power, luminous intensity, light intensity of these 4 sources of light that we just examined and looked at. Where did you see the comparisons at?
The candle and the lamp.
Okay, so here's candle and here's the lamp. And we're looking at the 2 X's here. And so in terms of intensity, what do you see?
They're around the same.
Okay, and then you also spoke when you were talking to your group, and I heard you say, obviously what? About
That the LED and the sun have like the same spike or going up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so again, we get to see that with that data being so instant. But yeah, that is the comparisons, absolutely. I mean, that's a definite similarity. Did anybody see anything else? Did anybody share anything else with you?
That's
kind of see the big norm.
Of the groups.
That's good because that's what we see. Yes, ma'am.
They all increase in intensity.
They all increase in intensity. Absolutely, they did. From our starting point, from candle to lamp to LED to sunlight, absolutely did increase in intensity. Good job, and great that we can see that so instantly. All right, go ahead. Thank you. All right, I think we can skip to the next screen. I think we have the brightest light source and the least.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna find out. I've got 2 sunglasses. I need 1 more. Who's
got sunglasses?
one up? All right, Aiden, one up. That's gonna help me out. Which are these? Nicholas?
You need 1 more pair of
One up.
sunglasses? Or you have enough?
Those are good.
Ooh.
These are groovy.
Not mine.
That's right. All right. That's fine. We'll bring them up.
All right, we are going to find out. Remember, we just went down there about a half hour ago, and I've stressed to everybody, do not look up at that sun. Do not. And there's a reason for that. So, obviously, we go out mostly in the summertime, and if you're like me, you end up buying about 7 pair because I lose or break 6. But we literally buy these to help protect our eyes from ultraviolet rays from the sun. So what we get to do with a lab disk today is generate data and actually find out, hey, are these things worth going out and buying? Worth making a purchase? And could there possibly be a better pair than another pair? All right?
We're just just gonna.
We need the lights off for this?
Yeah, I think. So we're gonna do artificial. We're gonna use artificial. We're gonna use
An LED light.
LED light. So the first reading we're gonna get was just direct. So this would be like looking directly into the sun. Okay.
So this is without any sunglasses. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep it away.
See it? And it's still going on. So it peaked here. So this was the peak right there. So let's go with the next pair of glasses.
This is our first pair of glasses, right?
Yeah, so this is A. Ashley, we got A?
Evidence, sunglass, evidence A.
Evidence A.
And will they help?
You hold that. Everything has to be really still, okay? All right, ready?
Do sunglasses work?
How'd it go? Down?
Yeah.
All right, I took 2 measurements there.
Okay, so
Right.
good block there.
Next one.
Hey Dirk, could you come get these for me, buddy, and take those up? I want to see these. I absolutely want to see these.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Take them up to Mr. Sutton.
Hold them. There you go. Make sure you're right in the middle. Can you hold this up? That's all right.
Ooh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Is that the sunglasses B?
That was B. I got
Uh-oh.
C. These don't look too good. How we doing?
Went up a little bit.
A little bit? And then the
Get
last pair.
Here we go.
These Mr. Leonard's.
No, I'm picking a winner. Those are Dirk's. I'm picking a winner. Don't let me down, Dirk. Don't let me down, buddy.
Hold that. There you go. Last one.
Oh,
What?
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
That's the one. That's the looking one. Someone's
Oh, Dirk, I know it's all about you. You're gonna work good.
I did.
Mine?
Hey, in terms of this little demonstration here or activity, the important part is obviously this was us trying to look into the sun right here without anything protecting our eyes. And then all of a sudden we had 4 pair of sunglasses, just random, that you brought in. We just kind of joked and had a good time about it. But obviously the results are real, and they do demonstrate that they absolutely knocked the intensity down tremendously. So, this would be a great sales pitch for anybody who's in a manufacturing business of sunglasses. But yeah, I would kind of emphasize that sunglasses are very important to our eyes. So it's pretty good activity. That was good.
Back to the.
Okay, couple questions. You ready? Yeah, couple questions here. All right, so this is going to be hopefully.
Time out, Mr. Leonard. Go back to your Mimeo software now. Go back to your Mimeo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to your Vimeo software. I'll get back to that.
Okay, then you go to history. The history is click that. And pick your group. Go to your.
You have to do that Q.
Like go to history.
Get the Q. Get to that.
Here. And what color are you guys? All right, pick red. Yes. Go to history.
And what color are you?
What color are you guys? Green.
Which light source had the highest intensity? Now, I'd like to say turn and talk for a minute, but how about you turn and talk for about 10 seconds?
light.
I might.
Did I get that right?
Touch on this question.
No.
Distance from the sun if you want. Not being funny. Or do we just run it? Huh? Run it. Okay. As a light source power, a source of light increases, what happens? Does the light intensity increase? Does the light intensity decrease? Does ambient light decrease, or none of these? So think about this. As a source of light power.
Hold on, before you start talking.
As a source of power, of light power increases. Which of the four up here is going to also have, you want to talk?
And before you decide, if you have a split decision in your group, you need to go back to your evidence. So if one of you says, well, I think it's A, and another one says, I think it's C, make sure you use your evidence to support your claim. So that's how you're going to end up with one answer. So we don't want your group to be split in their decision. We want you to have one answer, and that answer is going to be based on your evidence this time instead of just on a guess. Okay? Go ahead and turn and talk.
Last question?
Okay, last question. And again, listen, guys, sometimes we just read and we don't process what we're reading. I really want you to think about this. The further we are from the sun, light intensity decreases. And that's just simply true or false. The further we are from the sun, the intensity decreases. And I can tell you this right now. Mrs. Thing knows, as teacher. The conversation is just happening right now.
Hey, that's sick.
What I said.
I got that one right too.
Yeah, which is good. You know what I mean? All right, hey guys. First of all, I just want to thank literally everybody in this room for coming in this morning, last night, 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, today. Just everybody that was involved. Everybody that was a player, Mr. Bell, Mr. Weaver for yesterday and the days past of getting this all set up. This is a process, and I'll be the first to stand here and say that I never thought it would be a process like this. I truly didn't. And I will say this, it was worth every second of it. Being here till 6:30 last night with teachers and Mr. Sunder, Mr. Bell, Mr. Weaver, it was worth every second of it. And I hope to do this again, I truly do. I want to thank the students, literally, first of all, for your cooperation. Yeah, I'll clap for that. For your cooperation, for just your wonderful ability to come in and sit and reason and work together, because that is your future. It's absolutely going to be your future. This is it. I can almost assure you that. You're going to be working side by side, probably not with just one or two, but with many. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward with any future labs. It is about working together. But then for everybody that came in from the outside to kind of be a part of this, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
We get a group shot, and everybody gets that wall.
Where do you want me to sit?
Oh, right here, right here. Don't talk. Please don't talk. Everybody.
Everybody say STEM!
STEM! Everybody say sunshine.
Sunshine.
All right. Hey, we good?
How about everybody say cookie?
Oh!